Today's workout is a 10-minute pelvic floor, glutes, and abs workout. We'll learn how to properly engage our pelvic floor to strengthen our glutes and abs and improve core function. All you need is a mat. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to today's workout. We've got a 10-minute pelvic floor, glutes, and abs workout. We're going to do everything lying down on a mat, so let's get started. We've got 50 seconds of work, and we are going to begin on our backs. And first things first, I want you to take a deep breath in. Engage that core by drawing belly button in toward the spine as you exhale. Take your front knee over your hip at 90 degrees. Take both palms, one over the other, and press them into your knee. All I want you to do is press your hands into your knee and then press your knee back in toward your hands. So you're getting that feedback from the core. Hands into knee, knee pushing into hands. Just maintaining that deep core brace, belly button to spine, lower back toward the mat. And this is going to fire up that deep core and pelvic floor here. So we're just holding it here, pressing firmly through the hands. And we're going to add some movement to this in a few seconds. So just keep pressing. All about firing up that deep core and pelvic floor for the workout ahead. A few more seconds here and we will rest. And then we're going to take this same movement and add a little bit of opposite leg work. So now we're going to lift the opposite knee, still pressing those hands toward the knee, and we're going to extend that leg to 45 degrees and then bend the knee, bring it back in. Here we go. So now we've lifted the opposite leg. That's going to add a lot more core pressure. So make sure you're still firmly pressing knee into hands, hands into knee, and then start to use your breath. Exhale as you extend that leg to about 45 degrees. Keep that lower back pressing down toward the floor. Now, option tap the toe and keep that knee bent. A little bit less intense here, but if you can, take that leg 45 degrees, maybe lower. Using that breath really helps engage your pelvic floor and strengthen those pelvic floor muscles. So we always want to exhale on the hard part of exercise. So that is when I'm extending my leg right here. All right, rest. Your thighs are going to feel it too, so don't think that's problematic. It's actually not. You're just going to work your quads doing that as well. So think of it as a bonus. Okay, opposite knee comes up. Press hands into knee, knee into hands, and we hold. So this is a great exercise to just fire up your deep core and pelvic floor. You can do this daily. You can do this when you wake up. You can do this before you go to bed. It's just good to think about switching on your core muscles and getting that neurofeedback from brain to body, signaling your body that your deep core and pelvic floor are engaging and are working and are firing up. That's going to help you not just in your workout, but throughout everyday life. And of course, workouts are important, but in terms of strengthening, healing your pelvic floor postpartum, it's going to happen over your workouts and over the span of daily life activities as well. So we think about breath, posture, all those things go into pelvic floor strengthening and healing. All right, we're going to rest, and then we'll take this same leg up, hands to the knee, knee into hands, and then we're going to add that opposite leg lift and moving to 45 degrees. Here we go. Using that breath. You should feel everything tight here. So belly button to spine, lower back toward the mat, and ribs are down. So we're not flaring at the ribs. All these components working together to really build a strong, functional pelvic floor. Whether you've had a child or not, it's such an important piece of just everyday life. And then, of course, your workouts. Everything stems from the core, from the pelvic floor. So we want to focus on that strength. Okay, now we are going to come to a abduction exercise. So knees are going to come back up over the hips. I know your quads are burning. They're going to keep burning a little bit. Just hang with me. It's a leg day bonus, like I said. We're going to take one knee, open it to the front. Exhale as we close. Inhale, open to the back. Exhale as we close. Now, as you open, pay attention to what your core is doing, what your trunk is doing. See, use that core, use that breath. Make sure you're not arching the back. Make sure you're keeping that lower back toward the mat. Exhale as we bring the knee back in. That's the loading phase where I really want to pay attention to how we're engaging the core here. You might feel a little bit of hip popping, shifting. That's all good, as long as it's not painful. And you don't have to go all the way down. You can see I'm not going all the way to the floor. I don't have the flexibility to, but just a few inches in and out will do the trick. Okay, now we're going to move to a bent knee hip circle. So knees are going to come back over the hips 90 degrees. Hands on the ground. Re-engage that core and pelvic floor. We're going to take the legs down, around, and then back up 90 degrees. So we're moving forward and down, opening the knees, and then back together. So push the legs away. As we push the legs away and make that circle, I'm doing a nice big exhale. Firing that deep core and pelvic floor as I take the legs away from the body is important, because that's when my core is going to be under pressure, under the most pressure, right here. So I'm using my breath to manage that pressure. And that's why it's so important to use your breath, because it's going to help strengthen your core and pelvic floor under pressure. And that's what we want to do here. Under controlled pressure, before we add in things like weights and more challenging exercises like crunches, planks. We want to be able to do these well. All right, we're going to go to a glute bridge with abduction. So feet under close to your hips, and then drive the heels up. We're going to open the knees out and use your breath. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Drive the heels down. Just going at a nice, easy pace here. Nothing too intense. We want to focus on the height of the hips, and then just a little bit, one or 2 inches out and in. We don't have to go super big with that abduction. Again, it's not about how big you can make these movements. It's about using your core to control them, using your breath, keeping that belly button to spine, keeping a nice straight spine as well. We're not overly arching that low back. Trying to keep those hip bones nice and elevated here. That's how you know. You want to try to place your hands on your hip bones and see, do you notice any shifting or moving down, up, or side to side? That's how you can gauge whether or not you're keeping things stable. And that's what we want. Okay, now we're going to add a pulse to that glute bridge. So exhale, heels down, lift the hips. Just, again, about 1 inch or 2 up or down. Up and down, not up or down. You're going to go up and down whether you like it or not. So drive out of those heels. Exhale on the lift. We want to try to stay in that top range. It might not be totally as high as you can go, because you see, if I'm going as high as possible, I'm really arching my back. And I don't want you to arch your back like that. I want you to keep it lower so you can keep that pressure in your glutes. If you want to, you can go a little bit faster. The goal here is just to keep tension in the glutes. And again, glutes are such an important component of the core. We want to strengthen our pelvic floor, our deep core. We need strong glutes. So exercises like this, as well as weighted exercises for the glutes, are so important. Okay, let's bring our hands under our shoulders, fan the fingertips out, and then bring your hips under your shoulders. Walk the feet out just a bit so heels are down and toes are up. We're going to do a tabletop bridge. So exhale, lift your hips and drive them up toward the ceiling. Then slowly bring them back underneath the shoulders. Use your core, scooping in and up, and then driving the hips all the way back. So you don't want to just stop here and plop straight down. Come all the way back here, and then scoop in and up, and then down and back. So heels down, squeeze, 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 and then slow and controlled. So you're using your palms to push down, you're using your shoulders, you're using the hips, glutes, back of the body. It's really a full body exercise here. And I don't want you to rest very long at the bottom, but at the top, you can give me a little pause and keep that tension in the glutes. Really good pelvic floor and glute strengthening exercise here. And we're going to do another variation in just a minute where we add some movement. And it's going to be our last one. So we're going to assume that same position, hands under shoulders, hips under shoulders, heels down, toes up. We're going to come up into that bridge, extending one leg. Opposite side. So you're squeezing your glute, extending the leg. Alternatively, you can tap the heel but keep aiming to get your leg out as far away as you can, and then hips all the way back under those shoulders. You're going to feel a little bit of shifting of your hips, just like we did in those bridges. I want you to try to keep the hips at the same height. Even with that leg extended, you're going to have a tendency to want to drop and rotate. Try to point the hip bones up toward the ceiling. Use those glutes to push the leg higher, to keep it lifted. We're almost there. Let's do one more to make it even. There we have it. That was our 10-minute deep core and pelvic floor strengthening workout. I hope you guys enjoyed that and found some new and fun ways to strengthen your core and pelvic floor. If you like this workout, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, questions, feel free to reach out in this section below. I always try to read and respond to every comment I get, and I appreciate you all for being here. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you back here for our next workout together.